So for this problem, to construct a truth table from this given. Now take note that in constructing a truth table, these are the things you need to remember. That for this conjunction, if there is false, the truth value is false. Then for this junction, if there is true, the truth value is true. For this implication or arrow, only true implies false. The truth value is false and the rest are true. Then for this by implication or double arrows, so if the same values, then the truth value is true. Then for this negation, so not false, that's true. And not true, that's false. Then in the top of the table, so starts your table with the given variables. So that's P, Q, or R. Then followed by the negation of P, the negation of Q, then the negation of R. Then the parentheses, the negation of parentheses, and the last column must be the given. So for this given, to construct a truth table, since there are three variables, the P, Q, and R, so starts the table with these three variables. Then the negation of P, since there is negation of P, so we need to include the negation of P. Then the negation of Q, since in the given there is no negation of Q, then we need to exclude this negation of Q. Then the negation of R, so since there is negation of R, so we need to include the negation of R. Then the parentheses, so inside the parentheses, the negation of R and Q. Then we have the negation of parentheses, so this is the negation of parentheses. Then the last column must be the given. So observe, since there are three variables, so this one is 2 to the power 3. Therefore, there are 8 columns. Then for the truth values for every columns for P. So these values are constant for P, Q, and R. So for P, we have 4 truths and 4 false. Then for Q, true, true, then false and false. Then true and true, then false and false. And for R, this one is true, false, true, false, true, false, and true, false. Now again, these values are constant for P, Q, and R. Then for this column, not P, so from P, the negation of P, so not true, this one is false. Not true, this one is false. Not true, this one is false. And not true, this one is also false. Then for this not false, then that's true. Not false, that's true. Then not false, that's true. And not false, that's true. So these are the values for this column. Then for this not R, so therefore from R, so the negation of R. So for this not true, this one is false. Not false, this one is true. Then not true, this one is false. Not false, this one is true. Then not true, this one is false. Not false, that's true. Not true, this one is false. And not false, this one is true. So these are now the values for this column. Then for this column, to find the values, so take note that we have not R, then Q, and the connector is conjunction. So again, for conjunction, if there is false, the truth value is false. So we just need to look for F. So we have these two columns. So true, false, so there is an F, so the truth value is false. Then there is no false, so this one is true. There is an F, this one is false. There is an F, so this one is false. So there is an F, so this one is false. This one is true. Then false, so this one is false. So there is false, so this one is false. So these are now the values for this column. Then for this column, so we have now the negation of this inside the parentheses, or the negation of not R and Q. So therefore, take note for negation. So the opposite value, so this one is not false, this one is true, not true, this one is false, not false, this one is true, this is true, not false, that's true, not true, that's false. Then not false, this one is true, and not false, this one is true. So these are now the values for this column. Then the last one for the given. So we have, this is the given, so that's not P, so this is not P. Then arrow to the negation of not R and P. So arrow to this column. So again, this one is, the connector is implication or arrow. So this not P, arrow to this column. Now take note, for implication, only true implies false is false. The rest are true. So this one is false implies to true. This one is true because again, only true implies false. This one is false, arrow to false. This one is true. False, arrow to true. This one is also true. False, arrow to true. This one is true. True, arrow to true. This one is true. True, arrow to false. So again, T, F, or true implies false. So this one is false. This is true. Arrow to true. This one is true. And true implies true. This one is also true. So this is now the truth table for this equation.